Hey everyone, I'm Sargos and I'm gonna help you answer the question, what is Age of Wonders 4? Age of Wonders 4 is a turn-based RPG with 4X elements and tactical combat. It has it all. You create a race, build your empire as you explore, exploit, expand, and exterminate your way to victory, which ascends your race to godhood. The game is designed to have replayability, which for an 4X game is very new. Yes, we all play 4X games multiple times, but this one is designed so you have additional motivation to do so. Also, if you have any experience with 4X game, you will adjust to the gameplay right away. If not, learning Age of Wonders 4 will help you get into any other 4X game if you ever choose to do so. Made by Triumph Studios, which made the first installment of the series back in 1999. It was just called Age of Wonders. They also made the comically evil Overlord 1 and 2. In a time where Civilization and Heroes of Might and Magic games were in their prime, Age of Wonders came as a fresh take on both turn-based strategy and 4X. Age of Wonders was always a serious competitor. It built its name over the years. But fast forward to 2023, we get the latest game, Age of Wonders 4. When you enter the game and go for the new game, you can go either for the pre-made challenge realms, follow the story realms, or create your own map. The challenge realms have difficulty skulls going from 1 to 5, which just represents the various map traits that could hinder your match. Where the story realms are more guided and a bit scripted, both are equally fine choices for the first match. After selecting the realm type, you choose the AI difficulty, number of players, victory conditions, and other various things that can affect your match. For the selling point of the game, the race creation, you can, if you don't feel like it, pick a pre-made race, but I do suggest trying to express yourself through the race creator, as it is quite comprehensive and detailed. You can easily spend 40 minutes on just the race creation bar. Choose your physical form, culture, traits, starting technology or tome, and lastly visually design your ruler and your troops. Just to touch upon the starting technology I mentioned. You know the quote, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, from Arthur C. Clarke? Well, it applies here. You pick your tomes, which give you access to spells. The more spells you uncover, the higher tomes you unlock, and so on and so on. Those spells can be used in combat, the world map, to summon new units, to change terrain, and lastly to transform your race. It might be easier for you to look at tomes as segments in a research tree, and you can go wide and have spells or technologies from all tier 1 books, or go deep down one line and get access to the highest tier of books. So if you want to imbue your industrial mole people with steel skin, you can. They'll get appropriate buffs and a visual representation of that transformation. In this case, their skin will be metallic. When you finally enter the match, you're on a hex grid map overlooking your ruler and your city. When you lose those two, you lose the match, no matter how many cities you have. One other thing that separates Age of Wonders from other 4X games is that you can have a squad of 6 heroes and you can have a squad of 6 units with no heroes leading them. It's very flexible in that sense. The other interesting feature is the Empire Development menu, where you have yet another way of further customizing your race depending on their affinity. It's like a shop for various Empire upgrades like seafaring, teleporter infrastructure, more palantirs, whispering stones, instantly summon a whole army, or just straight up buff all your units. And lastly, without going into too much detail, there is the RPG part, the hero leveling, unlocking abilities and forging gear part of the game. You can create a blacksmith to forge awesome weapons, armors, amulets for your heroes, but you can also raid temples and find epic mounts, which all make your hero a formidable force on the battlefield. That leads us to combat, which for this game is very well made. You'll have to keep track of buffs and debuffs, formation since there is flanking, and even morale. Losing morale makes the unit fumble and it can make them rout. There are different unit types like chargers, tanks, supports, pikemen, etc. And mixing spellcasting with all of that, where on top you can have a 3 army versus 3 army combat, so that's 18 versus 18 units. But not everything needs to be solved with force, there is diplomacy. A mechanic that is always hard to do right in any game. I expected bare bones, but the devs obviously played other games and implemented various features and made their mix. You have minor factions, or so-called free cities, which can be your enemies, vassals, or you can absorb them. And you have the major factions, or the rulers, that can be other players as well, with which you can settle grievances, make alliances, or go to war. Now I mentioned palantirs, or whispering stones as they are called, orbs with which you can whisper into the minor faction rulers' ears. Convert them to your side by just giving them one of those whispering stones. I mean, if that is not a palantir, I don't know what is. But anyway, it's a nice tool for diplomacy. With all of that, you have the standard victory conditions: defeat all enemies, acquire most land, get the highest research unlocked, or just have the highest score when the final turn of the match is reached. The main difference I've seen here is that when you start doing the last requirement for the win, the AI will react to that and do all it can to stop you. It won't just be passive and accept defeat. This makes that final holdout that much interesting. When you finally achieve victory and ascend your race, you can choose to encounter your race in the future matches as AI-controlled faction. Other than that, you get points with which you can unlock additional cosmetics and traits for your next race creation. The tree is pretty big, so you'll need a number of matches to get everything unlocked. The DLCs provide even more traits and customization for your faction, and it appears appropriate. It doesn't feel like you have to have it, or that it's a missing part of the core game. There is a lot in the core game, but the DLCs seem like an addition. My experience with the game was surprisingly very positive. In my opinion, the game grew so much from Age of Wonders 1 that it appears as if it's the devs' magnum opus. It is a 4X game, but it's so detailed, full of mechanics with great combat and clean, understandable UI. Similar to others enough that you can get right into it, but deeper than any other. Nice things like clicking continue right off the launcher so the game directly throws me back into the match. Mode support, which is always a good thing. You can play classical circular turn-based simultaneous turns, or the ancient play by email, where you get an email notification where it's your turn to play. This is of course for multiplayer, but still I can see it being used. The stairs in the main menu, they show all of your ascended race rulers gathered facing the portal. Those little details, the little touches, they're nice. I've played single player and multiplayer matches, and I must say the multiplayer part of the game isn't that good. I'll sing praises for the single player, but multiplayer was the thing that made me think to myself, will this ever end? If you are playing multiplayer, you have the option to take control of the AI faction the other player is having a combat encounter with. But let's say you don't want to, you still have to watch it. Or just have the black screen if you've turned it off in the match settings. So let's say you were trying to pick what to research, and then BAM! You are denied any action. Breaking news, this player is now in combat. You're now going to watch this. And a combat can take up to 30 minutes, where if you had a train of thought, it fell off a cliff. It's long gone. I cannot express how annoying this is. Playing with more than one human is almost unplayable. There is a solution to this, since the multiplayer save is on the cloud and no one owns it. There is no host. So set the turns to classical Robin round, and when you are done, just exit the game and let the other players finish their turns. And then get back when you feel like it and do your turn. This works, but in such a way that we played a single match for about 3 weeks. But the crazy part of this system is that in this way you can play multiple matches at the same time, even multiplayer. Just finish your turn and leave. Go to another match, finish your turn there, and then jump to a third one where after which you are done, you go back to the first one. It's strange, but it works, and it requires a lot of brain power to switch from one race and plan you have to another and then another and then another. Just switch races and like grand strategies and plan you have. Keeping all of that inside your head is taxing, to say the least. At the end, this is Age of Wonders 4. And the question is the race creator a strong enough selling point for you? Does making a fantasy race and its team enticing enough? Thank you for your time. I hope I've given you enough info on the game, and if I've missed something, be sure to tell me about it in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and if you're interested, I stream stuff on Twitch. Also, you can find me on my Discord server. See ya.